Welcome to the Full Tactical Range by Range Systems. I'm Beau lead instructor for defensive mindset training, and this is your drill of the week. This week's drill of the week, I thought we'd have some fun developing our speed and our immediate action responses with something called a 1-and-1 drill. We're not going to do it just the simple standard way, although we're going to start there. We're going to do a triplet of 1-and-1s. So let's get started. 1-and-1 drills are typically taught at CQB courses all across the country. The general gist is getting the person to start to engage the handgun with a really different mindset. The idea of lots of speed, lots of confidence, and changing over from the idea of being reactive to being proactive. Being proactive is a large advantage for a defender. The idea being is that when you start to take action, you've already put yourself at least a quarter of a second ahead of your opposition. Generally speaking, that's how long it takes for your opposition to perceive that you've done something and then start to be able to make a response. Sometimes it's as long as 4/10 of a second. That being the case, you've got 4/10 of a second. Let's just round up. Let's call it, you got a half a second advantage over your potential threat. Where we would use this as a defender is something that I like to call a drop dead point. What I mean by a drop dead point is, let's say you find yourself in a situation where it is they've gotten the drop on you. They've already got the knives out, they're holding it to your chest, they're bringing out, they've come at you with a firearm that's already out, they've got the drop on you. That being the case, you've got sort of two choices. One, you can submit, which in some instances that might be the right answer. In other instances, though, that is going to just bring you into things that are worse. Because again, if you go to crime statistics, every time you go to the second location, that's where the bad stuff always happens. In terrorism, this is definitely bad, because as soon as you go and submit at that point, your odds of survival just plummet right through the floor. The drop dead point is simply a way of saying, for us as defenders, at what point am I saying, I'm not going out on my knees, I'm gonna go out fighting. And so you swap over from being reactive to proactive, you choose to engage. Doing drills like this can start to condition you to saying, yep, here's my point, here's my time, now I'm gonna engage. And you start to take action, giving yourself that quarter to 4/10 of a second advantage over the bad guy, and hopefully it's enough to make them stop. So the general gist of how a 1-and-1 drill works is like this. Generally we'll have a target in, and it'll be in really close. I mean, sometimes within like 3 feet. So this guy right here is, say, about 4 or 5 feet from me. It's very close. And what they'll do is they'll set up one round inside of their handgun. So I've got an empty handgun here with a magazine in it. There's nothing in the firearm. And they'll have another round in a second magazine in a pouch or a pocket. And what'll happen is they'll set themselves up, they'll square up on the target. They'll all of a sudden either get a signal to go, or they'll make the decision in their head. The firearm will come out, one shot to center mass as quickly as they can. The gun would slide lock. They'll drop out magazine, new one will go in, and then they'll do the second shot to center of face. So they'll do one shot center of mass, one shot center of face as fast as they can going between the two. The skill development part that's useful for us is, one, we're developing really fast. We're pushing ourselves in the draw to get that firearm out as quickly as we can. Then we're also really engaging with confidence. There's really not way you're gonna miss at this kind of a distance. This is really close. I mean, you can darn near touch him with the firearm. Now, you wouldn't necessarily wanna do this in this fashion depending on the situation, because again, if my gun comes out, there's a possibility he starts to wrestle me for it, and now we're just bad. But it could be for some reason that his hands are occupied, whatever it is, and I just can take him out. Again, there's all kinds of variants. They're not tactic we're talking about, it's purely technique. The other element does is it pushes us to have the fastest immediate action that we possibly can. So I want my immediate actions to be clean, to be crisp, and to get that secondary shot off as quick as possible. Now, tale of caution on the front end. This kind of a drill really requires you to have extremely solid shooting fundamentals and extremely solid rules of safety development. That muzzle awareness, that the firearm is directed toward the target, toward my threat, what I want it to point to, and not what I don't want it to point to the whole time. And then secondarily, that trigger finger awareness, especially, that my finger is on the trigger when my sights are aligned, and my finger is not on the trigger when my sights are not aligned. This is a kind of drill where if people don't have those skills well developed, there's a good shot the bullets go flying off in some direction, which isn't all that useful for us as defenders, nor for us trying to do stuff that's safe. This is part of the reason I tell you all the time to do drills dry before you start to engage them live. Because you can push yourself as hard as you want dry, and if you screw up and accidentally send a laser off into the wall, who cares? But if you do send off a live round in a way that you didn't intend to go, well, you now have to account for it. Most people just work this standard one, that simple 1-in-1 straight out. We're going to be a little bit different than that. We're going to build our 1-in-1 set as a triplet. So we're going to do 3 different drills on the 1-in-1. So the first 1-in-1 drill we're going to do is the standard. So we'll set yourself up, 1 magazine in the firearm, 1 magazine in the pouch or the pocket. You're going to ballpark yourself at 3 to 6 feet from your target, 1 shot center mass, emergency reload, 1 shot center of face, and this is how the drill looks. Drill number 2, what we're going to do is we're actually going to work multiple targets. So I'm going to have 2 of these set up. So I have 1 over here, 1 over there. There'll be 2 set up. I'll stand in between. And what we'll do is same deal as before, 1 in the firearm, 1 in the pouch of the pocket. First shot will come out. We'll get 1, do an emergency action, immediate action as we transition over to target number 2 and engage target number 2. And same deal as before. We'll do center mass on 1, center of face on the other. And you'll want to make sure that you do that in all the different possibilities just so you get the flow that it could go wherever you want it to. So you might do left to right, center of mass, center of face. You might go right to left, same thing, center of mass, center of face. Or you might go center of face to center of mass. But either way, you're working both the target areas and both directions of your transition. The third way that we're going to work our 1-in-1 is we're going to use cover and concealment. So the idea is going to be just like before, I'm going to have my 2 targets. My 2 targets now are going to be either side of my cover or concealment. I'm going to use a target back or turn the other way. And what we'll do is we'll start squared up on the middle of our cover and concealment. Buzzer will go off or we'll take action. We'll get 1, have to do our immediate action and swap over to get to the other side. Same deal as before with the multiple targets, is that we need to make sure that we are doing it all the different ways. So both left and right, and also center of mass to center of face and center of face to center of mass going in both directions. Working drills like the 1-in-1 drill give you a great opportunity to really push your speed and build your confidence, right? I mean, the target's right here. You're going to get it. You just got to be able to work it. And it's nice to be able to go and say, okay, yeah, I can break that shot in motion as the firearm is getting all the way out to the end. I can do this. And that really helps you develop the speed response that you need as a defender. It also gives us a shot to work that mentality of the drop dead point. At what point do we say we're in a situation where I have to make a decision? I'm either going to go out as a hostage or whatever way that they're going to want to send me, or I'm going to go out fighting. And by developing that drop dead point capability, you start to be able to really have the confidence to know that, hey, if you're faced with this really terrible and untenable situation, that you at least know that you can respond. And that's where true confidence comes from. So for defensive mindset training, I'm Beau. Thanks for watching.